Welcome to Studio Savvy. Join us each week as we dive into the world of marketing for dance studio owners. Hosted by Resourceful Dance, each episode is packed with actionable tips and real-life examples. Let's dive in.
Hey studio owners, are you feeling stretched thin between teaching, managing parents, and keeping the day-to-day under control? You're left with little time to refresh your online presence. Meet our team, Resourceful Dance, your go-to partner for website design tailored just for dance studios. We craft beautiful, timeless websites that effortlessly attract new students. The best part? We've just updated our packages. That means more flexible options, streamlined features, and custom solutions that fit your studio's unique size and rhythm. Think sleek layouts, mobile responsive design, SEO, all without adding to your workload. To learn more, visit our website today, resourcefuldance.com. There, you'll discover how our refreshed packages can elevate your studio's digital space. Your studio deserves a website that matches the amazing programs you offer. So head over to resourcefuldance.com and see what's new. Your next season could be your best yet. Welcome to Studio Savvy. My name is Colleen and I'm here with Meagan and we're the co-founders of Resourceful Dance. We are excited to dive into another episode, and today we are talking about personal connection and how it's everything to build a loyal dance community. Okay, so we're really excited and passionate about this topic in particular, and it's something at our studio we really worked on. And even as we've danced at other studios, this is always a focus, even without being told. It's always kind of a personal goal of our own to connect with families and make sure they feel really supported and like it's a positive environment. So before we dive in, Meagan, you have been on a mission, a new journey perhaps, and to help manage stress and all that good stuff. Tell us about it.
I feel like you set that up in a way that is really
I'm so
like
sorry.
I felt the pressure. And this is supposed to be my it's my low pressure thing. So I've been running. And what's fun about this is I started running. I did like a turkey trot, and then I did a Mother's Day. These are all 5Ks, a Mother's Day 5K, and then a 4th of July 5K. My daughter does cross country, so she's been running. And I just kept running. And then I don't know, just kind of impulsively, which suits my personality, I signed up for a half marathon because as much as I just said, this is my low pressure thing, I can't do anything without like just a little bit. I needed a goal, I guess, because I can't just run to run. I have to pay to then keep running. But here's why I love running. It turns my brain off in a way that I don't really think anything else does. I blast my tunes. I kind of feel like I'm dying. Now, not so much, but especially in the beginning. It's hard for me. It doesn't feel comfortable. It feels uncomfortable. So I have to focus on my breathing. Like I just breathe and listen to music. And there's not a lot of room for much else. Now I'm getting to the point where it's like, okay, I'm getting comfortable. My mind can wander. But in the beginning, it's like survival out there. But it's really nice. And I was telling Colleen, I'm like, I feel like every entrepreneur needs to do something they're bad at because it's just a good reminder. You can be a beginner. You can start something. I have my plan and I highlight when I do my runs. Like I'm seeing progress, but it's so low stakes and I am completely comfortable being pretty bad at this. And I just think for my mental health, like it's such a good thing. You know, if I step into a dance studio, my mind is full of junk. Like my leg's not that high and I don't like how I look in my outfit. And I'm 42. Like that's sad, but it's just where I'm at. I still think about like the dancer I was at 20. Running, I have none of those issues. I just get out there with my fanny pack, throw on my shoes and go. Mm-hmm. So that's I don't know. Colleen, what's your thing?
Okay, so I have a couple things. I was thinking about this. And number one is gardening. I love to garden and I'm a perfectionist. Okay, so a secret perfectionist. I don't share it out loud very much, but gardening, I have zero expectations on myself. And it's something that I just like, doesn't work. No big deal. I don't know why I just dropped my perfectionist self in that way, but it works. And then the other thing, I'm not a runner. I don't like running. Never have. I encourage all runners. I think it's amazing, but it's not for me. I lift weights and I love that. My pregnancies were really tough on my body. And especially after COVID, I was probably like the weakest I had ever been. And then I started a program called Slam, not sponsored, by the way. I would love to be because I'm such a fan. It's like Strong Like a Mom. And Ashley's the owner and she's just like phenomenal. She tells me what to do in an app. I don't really talk to her. And I just show up and do it. And I've progressed a little at a time. It's taken me like 3 years probably to get back to where I was like before babies, strength wise. But it feels great. And like Meagan said, I just kind of like zone out. It's not for anybody else. Yeah, I started my weakest I'd ever been. But I just decided to like not be negative about that and just like keep going. And like before I knew it, I was lifting up weights like 3 times as heavy and I love it. So I agree. Find some sort of physical thing that you can do to get out of your head, that you have zero expectations on yourself and that you can just keep going. And the more you do it, the more you build confidence that like, whoa, I just moved up in weights, or oh my gosh, I ran longer today than I ever have before. And that gives you confidence to kind of take on things that maybe you feel nervous about that are bigger, right? Start little and then build up that confidence.
I love that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just, yeah, it's been nice. And I mean, I remember getting some messages as like probably more college dancing where it's like, don't run, you'll ruin your knees, or you're going to put on quads. Colleen, you know exactly who maybe would tell me that. Yeah. You know, there's always, and probably lifting weights too. I hope it's changing a little bit, but I think when we were dancing a lot, there's a lot of pressure that that's like the only thing you should be doing. Man, and I would love to change that for students. And then, I mean, it's not too late if you're a dance studio owner or a dance teacher, but I just think there are so many benefits to getting out of the studio and doing other things. Probably, I mean, haven't they proven that like cross training works and is important, right?
You know what? I feel like we could do a whole episode on like body image and you know, like positive culture within your students and what you can control as a teacher on how to kind of encourage your students to cross train and to move in different ways. And it's okay if you're not 100% dance 100% of the time. We are very passionate about that. So
yeah, I mean, I'm even my mind is spinning, but we're gonna save that.
Yeah.
Bookmark it. Table it. We'll come back. It's just, I think, interesting that we're kind of still undoing maybe some of the unhealthier messages we got from training as dancers.
And I think both of us have different stories when it comes to that. Like, I feel like it manifested in such different ways for both of, like, Meagan and I were sisters. We both went to the same university. We both majored in dance. But yet, I feel like your manifestation of, like, mindset and all that came out so differently than mine did. Both not great.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah.
We'll
okay. I feel like we're being really like, here's this juicy story that we're not going to tell you right now. But yeah, I think if you've danced at a high level, you probably have a complicated relationship with dance. It's the highs of highs, the lows of lows. Yeah, that's just how it is.
Wow.
Okay. Let's dive in to it. Yeah, let's shift gears. Let's get back to connection. Okay, so the thing that we love about if you build a culture that's really grounded in connection at your studio, you really are setting yourself up for retention, for less issues in general, for less people leaving, just a stronger environment, more sales, more revenue. It's just a win-win for everyone.
And a happier place to be, by the way.
And a happier place to be. Yeah. But when you create real connections with your families and your parents and you build trust, those little things that happen are going to roll off their backs. You know, those little mistakes that, of course, are going to happen along the way are just not going to be as big of a deal. If you do not have that foundation in place, those little things are why people leave or why they just never come back and you never really know why. So it's so important to make this a priority. And depending on your personality as a dance studio owner and your team's personalities, this may come really easy to you, or it may be something you have to actively work on.
Yeah, I think for everybody, it's work, right? It's work to make those connections, just like your personal relationships. Like if you don't put the work in, those relationships kind of fade into the background and like you lose touch. Same thing with customers. You really have to work on it to improve and strengthen those relationships. And for some of us, it's really natural and it's really just second nature. And for others, it's really difficult to put yourself out there, and it can feel really scary. Kind of having discussions with your team right off the bat of where they're at. They don't have to bare their soul to you necessarily on how they feel about talking to strangers and, all that stuff. But at least getting a gauge for where they're at on that scale so that you can make sure to put the people or balance the schedule so that you always have somebody on staff that is ready to connect with families and ready to like kind of schmooze a little bit. That kind of takes us into our first tip, is that during the first month or two of dance is prime time for getting to know families and then also checking in with returning families. So you haven't seen them the whole summer, some of them. Be excited to like, hey, welcome back. What have you been doing this summer? Like, tell us a little bit more. Same thing, getting to know siblings, getting to know parents, what they're into. It really, really makes a difference to families knowing that their educator, someone that's close with their child, remembers their siblings and what they're into. It feels really good as a parent to say, like, these people care. These people are taking the time and energy to get to know my family. They care about my family. That feels good. So I know there's a lot like admin stuff to do the first week, 2 weeks, whatever, month. Assign that to somebody else. As the owner, especially, or a director of a dance studio, the most important thing that you could be doing is talking to parents. And I know that feels like opposite because you're like, well, actually, no, these people have registration questions and blah, blah, blah. Have somebody else handle that, the nuts and bolts. You focus on connecting. And same thing for your teachers. They need to be stepping out into the lobby between classes, especially that first month of classes, to just be there in case somebody has a question, in case somebody wants to catch them in between classes. Sometimes they might not have anything to say to you at that moment, but you can at least smile and say, hey, connect with students that you've had in the past. It doesn't take that much. But it is so important.
Yeah. And I mean, there's some really practical tips to make this happen. First, you have to make sure that all your teachers know that this is what they should be doing during the first month of classes. Like even just being in the doorway and smiling and being open versus being inside their studio, so into like their lesson plans. I mean, that's important too. But sometimes you need to explicitly tell teachers, no, actually, for the first month, you need to be out in the hallway ready to receive kids. You need to be introducing yourself to parents. You need to be smiling. Like that sounds silly, but some teachers need that instruction. Even maybe they are someone who's like that, but I know I've walked into studios as a teacher and not really known, like, oh, do I wait in my studio? Do I go out? Is it okay to walk out there? Like, it always feels good just to have clear instructions, whether you are brand new or a seasoned teacher, just to know that what you're doing is in line with what the dance studio owner wants. So that's first thing you have to do. Second thing, inside the dance studio, make sure your teachers know your expectations for how you want them to interact with the kids. Like how much is okay to chit chat at the beginning of class? Do they ask everyone like a special question to get to know them? Are there any rituals at the end of class that you want them to incorporate? Just knowing, again, like I have what I like to do, but I don't want to feel like the dance studio owner is going to get mad at me if I take 5 minutes to chat at the beginning of class. So just laying that all out. Name tags are a super practical way to make sure your teachers are saying your kids' names and getting them memorized. And even like setting the expectation, like, hey, a month into the school year, I expect you to have every single one of your students' names memorized. That's one of those things that like a younger teacher may not know that that's really important to say kids' names, but it's like, that makes a huge difference on how connected those kids feel to your studio.
Yeah. I mean, I think as much as you can get out there and get to know families, the better. And remember, like the good old saying, like a first impression is the lasting impression. So don't start off the year behind the desk. Get out there, mingle, get to know people. We want people to be shouting your name from their rooftops. Like if their friends are looking for dance classes or whatnot. So the more you can get to know them quickly, the more chance that people will be like talking to other people about how great their experience is there. And that helps with the numbers. And it also helps for retention. So get out there. The next idea that we had to create some more relationships and kind of create a more loyal fan base is don't forget about your administration staff or your front desk staff, whatever title that you have for those members of your team. Introduce them to your families, like via social, via email, just like we do for our teachers. So I see a lot of teacher posts where it's like, oh, they ask them fun questions and their favorite things and a little bit about their background, which is awesome. I love that. Don't stop. Don't forget to include your front desk staff, because oftentimes the parents and the families are interacting with that staff probably more than the teachers, because they're the ones that they're going to go to for questions about registration or what their kids need for dance class or what time do they have to show up for recital. Like all those things are going through the front desk staff. So it also kind of ups the level of importance for the front desk staff or whoever's there. Their job is also very important. So to not highlight them feels a little bit like, oh, they don't matter. And they might feel that a little bit as well. So like even taking the time to take their picture and ask them a few special questions, it's going to raise their own importance level of what they're doing for your dance studio. So they might then treat that job a little bit more seriously because how important it is.
Yeah. And we all know that if you have an outstanding front desk admin or office manager or whatever their title is, like that is so valuable to your business. I mean, I dare to say like teachers can probably be more easily replaced than a phenomenal front desk person that knows your programs inside and out. So yeah, that's so true. Parents need to know that that person is also valued and that's who they're interacting with the most. And also too, that person has to know that in addition, just like their teachers, your teachers, they have to know that in addition to handling all these admin things, part of their job is being a friendly, soft place for parents to go to ask their questions and feel really comfortable.
Yeah, and I want to add, this is totally a side note, not super related, but I want to add, make sure like you're paying your front desk and your admin staff a good wage, right? Like that job is very important. It is not a minimum wage job. And I understand where sometimes the budget isn't, you don't have a huge budget for front desk staff, but I just want to point out that like that is a very important role at your dance studio. So we don't want to be giving all of our money to the teachers and then now we can't afford to hire somebody for less than minimum or more than minimum wage. We need to be paying those staff members, team members appropriately for the responsibilities that they have. And also like the more that they get paid, the more they're going to take that job seriously. So if it's a minimum job wage, you can go and work somewhere else for minimum wage with a lot less responsibility. So I just want to put that out there, that make sure you're considering that when hiring, that you need to be able to pay them a respectable wage for that position because it is very important.
Yeah. And I guess a lot of times you do see a pretty big discrepancy, especially teacher pay. I mean, it's funny because I find myself, I can see both sides. I've worked as a teacher and a studio owner, but like teachers' wages, depending on where you live, like they've really gone up. I mean, quite significantly in the last 10 years.
It's great. I don't hate that.
No, I'm not hating on it either. I'm just saying in comparison to a front desk
the front
employee,
desk has not
it's like
gone up in a comparable way. It's pretty much stayed stagnant, I would say.
Yeah. And if you're looking at like, of course, both those roles contribute to your, you need outstanding teachers to have students, but I would say you also need like excellent admin to keep families. So that's maybe equally, maybe even more important to your retention. Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. So let's get into, so this has happened now 2 years, but I got a phone call from my daughter's homeroom teacher. And the first thing he said was, your daughter's not in trouble. Don't worry. He's like, I have her for homeroom. And he's like, during the first couple months of the school year, we like to call and just check in and see if there's anything we should be aware of. Is she having any difficulties at school? And just wanted to let me know that like, if she has problems, he's her first stop. I can email or call. It was so nice. Delightful. I was delighted. I was like, this has never happened anywhere. We have moved a lot, anywhere we've ever been in school. So how cool would that be if during the first couple months of class, for every single student that was new to your school, if they got a phone call, either from their teacher or the front desk, or maybe you, the studio owner, it could only last a couple minutes. Maybe it could even be a text, like just checking in, just wanted to touch base. Do you have questions? Is there anything like even context wise, like is there anything we should know about your child? How are they talking about dance at home? Colleen brought up too, this is a great time to even ask, like, did you need more information? Like even to kind of just take stock of where people are at. Like, did you have all the information you needed? Was it clear? Did you find everything? And kind of take some notes for the upcoming year. But I just thought that would be so nice. I have never been anywhere outside of school, like activity wise, like that's never happened. And
No, I
people
think
love.
the only time that I've ever gotten a call like that is like from the doctor, like from my kids. Like there's been just like one or two times where some like a nurse called to be like, "Hey, I'm just checking. How
Mm,
is your daughter? Like I know she was here for this." And I was like, "Thank you so
my
much for calling."
daughter.
Like I thought that was just like the nicest thing. And I can see where like, wow, like you guys took the time to check in with us. Like that is so great. Like I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, it did make me feel quite special, even though I realize he's calling everybody. He said that.
Yeah, but it still takes time and
It
effort.
made, yeah, it made me feel like you see my daughter, you know who she is. Now I gave you a little bit more information. Like I just think it was really nice. So I think that, I mean, that could just have a huge impact on how people feel about their experience. And they just want to feel like you see their kid and you understand them and you like them.
Yeah, I did get an email now that I'm thinking about it from my daughter's kindergarten teacher this year after the first couple days of school. And same thing. I was like, that was so nice. She emailed and let me know. Like it was just, I agree. I think that would be like an amazing touch. And yeah, it takes time, but you could always just say, like, give it a big time. Like he said, what, like 3 months they try to touch base with
Yeah,
everybody. Do a couple, like 10 calls. You could even divide it amongst your teachers, but make sure you pay them for their time.
yeah,
And yeah. Okay. Let's move on. So the next one is super easy, like a birthday acknowledgement of some sort. So a lot of the dance studios softwares, they have this automated. It's so easy. Just click the button. Yes, I want to send an email on that child's birthday. I would argue even for like leads or people that have taken free trials, just include them and maybe throw in like a little, either a discount to start classes with us again, or maybe if you have a boutique, you could give them a $5 discount, like gift card or something to the boutique, or you could give away a little sticker. Really, like I know some of our clients, they have where you go to the front desk to pick up a little birthday gift of some sort, and it's very low cost, but again, just like a little acknowledgement of their child. Same thing with like student of the month programs, we love those, or studio, or like shout outs of some ways, or wow cards. I know those were like a big thing a few years ago. I don't know if they really still are, but just acknowledging kids here and there for either their behavior. Maybe they were a really kind friend. Maybe they did something amazing in dance class. Maybe they're working really hard. Just acknowledging that like we're watching individual students and we're paying attention and we're loving seeing them grow as people and as dancers. And yeah, we see them. We see your children. That is the biggest message, especially as people that work with kids, is that we want them to be seen and we want them to feel heard. And that's what most parents want for their kids.
for sure. We do for a lot of our clients too. Like these things are happening in the studio. You're sending an email, but you can also use this and share on social, put together a
Mm-hmm.
simple graphic. And we do this for a lot of our clients for birthdays and student of the month. And it is interesting to me how, like, okay, I use the same template month after month for
Mm-hmm.
happy birthdays and just plug in the kids' names. But like every month, if it's your child's birthday, it's exciting to see their name up there. So it's funny that those posts get a lot of engagement, even though it's literally the same. The greeting is the same. The only thing that changes is the kids' names. So if you need a little push to add these things on social, do it. It's so easy. It just mixes into the schedule. But it's also, besides just the kids where it's like their birthday, for your other families and other people, it also is showing people exactly what we said. You prioritize your clients, their experience, and celebrating them really matters to you as a business owner. Because I know we've I mean, we talk about this all the time. The more you can do to shine a spotlight on your people, as a way to demonstrate your values versus like, we do this, I do this, da 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 da. It just is so much more effective.
Yeah, and this is something that too you can work in some unique ideas to your studio. Like I know one of our clients, she does like a unique happy birthday song in class for anyone whose birthday it is that week. And it's just like all the kids know it. And it's like this little club that they all belong in, that they know the song, or like the birthday rituals or the student of the month rituals, like it's something that they remember and they'll latch onto, and it makes your studio different than others in the area. So even getting your team together and thinking through a couple ways that you can really shine a light on your students. These are just a few ideas, but I'm sure your creative team can think of others, or maybe ways that you can set your studio apart from others in your community.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Colleen, the studio we grew up dancing at. Like we had this tradition where at all of our parties, we always ended up playing musical chairs.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why that just came to me, but it was something like I didn't play musical
chairs.
Yeah, I didn't play musical chairs in any other context. Like it was like we were teenagers and we're like
I feel like it was
throwing each other out of the way. It was a little violent, but it just was, again, one of those traditions that kind of evolved at our studio. And like, yeah, a lot of these things can evolve into traditions and then they just mean something and it's special. It's like, we didn't play musical chairs any other time. Like it had to be certain conditions were met and then the chairs came out.
Parents off the chairs. We need them.
We need them.
Better yet, exit the building. This is serious.
Yeah, you don't want to see this.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. No, I think and that's, I think personally, when we owned our studio, and even as a teacher, this is one of my favorite parts of the job, is like getting to know the families and the siblings and making little connections here and there and making people smile when you remember things, or taking the time to get a really shy student out of their shell. Like those are the moments that make teaching and owning a dance studio worth it. So I don't want you to miss out on it, on the joy that it brings, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first. And in the end, it really cultivates a really positive, supportive environment that families are going to want to keep coming back to. So it's worth it.
Yeah, Colleen, and I think when we think about like our clients, especially the ones that are really high performing studios, they have 500 plus kids, they've really built these like legacy businesses. They all do a phenomenal job at this in their own special ways.
They all do different things, every single one. I can't, like all of my clients, I'm like thinking through the special things that they do. They're all unique to their studios, but they're all doing the same purpose, or they all have the same purpose.
Yeah. And I mean, it is probably those, I'm just thinking those studio owners, they are those sort of personalities where this comes natural to, but also I can see it's been cultivated throughout the years by just the different things they've mixed in and how they train their team to say, this is how we do it here. So it just was kind of interesting as I think about them. They all really do have a strong focus on this. And it stayed even as their studios have gotten huge.
Yeah. And more important as you grow. So kudos to them.
For sure.
And if you have a unique idea that you do at your dance studio, we would love to know about it. If you're willing to share and spread the word, or something else that you have found really has made an impact with your dance families, please let us know. You can email us at info@resourcefuldance.com, and we would love to hear about it and chat with you more. I think that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah. Okay. What are you doing this afternoon, Colleen?
So actually Wednesdays are kind of our easy day. My daughter takes piano lessons, and then my kindergartner confessed yesterday that kindergarten is really hard work. It kind of broke my heart, and I'm like, we don't have to go, sweetie. We can homeschool. And that's what it felt like, to be honest. But so I think it's really important that we keep just a night of like, we're going to play together. We're going to do some puzzles. We're going to go to bed early.
Yeah.
How about you? What are you doing?
It's my night to do soccer practice, but I've already I'm kind of excited about my errands I'm going to run while I'm at soccer practice. So I think I'm going to Kohl's, which I have a gift card to. So normally Kohl's wouldn't be someplace I'm really excited about, but I'm going to go. But one thing I'm buying is actually something for my middle daughter, and I think she lost her watch at some point this summer. She lost it. She is driving me crazy because we get ready for the morning. She sits on the couch. It's too far from Colleen's laughing because she can just envision this.
I love her little daughter, and I know exactly what she's going to say.
It's too far from the kitchen where our clock is, and she is just obsessed over not being late for school. So she's just like, what time is it? Mom, what time is it? Mom, what time is it? But she's asking me like on the minute, and I'm like, enough is enough. So I am buying her a watch. She doesn't need any features. It just needs to tell time. So I'm like, I think Kohl's is the perfect place to make that happen for her.
You know, I'm in the market for a watch that I can play my music from, but I don't really want an Apple Watch. So if you see anything that's like under $100.
Well, I do know because my other daughter has she wanted like a step counter, like a Fitbit, but I think all the watches now have this feature.
But are they
like
are they reasonable pricing wise? Because I don't want to spend a lot of money.
A basic Fitbit, I think, is still under $100. But it you can even connect it to your phone, so you can I don't know if you can answer calls, but it's just all integrates.
I need to play my music for teaching because my Apple Watch broke. So I literally and I have little 3-year-olds this year, so I can't leave them. Otherwise, they just follow me like little duckies.
And once you have gotten used to having your watch for teaching, you cannot go back.
I know. It's been a struggle. So I just want to buy something that I can use. But
okay, look into the Fitbit.
Report back, please.
I will look at all the watches.
Thank you.
And report back. But anyways, so my trip to Kohl's, that's what I'm going to get. But it's really for her and for me because I'm tired of telling her what time it is all the time. And then she said, okay, this is funny. In her classroom at school, the American flag is blocking the clock of where she sits. So I feel like all day she's paranoid about. So I really think this is for her mental health too.
Yeah, she needs a watch. Get her that watch. It's going to ease 99% of the stress she's carrying on her back.
Kids are funny. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with another episode.
All right. See you later, guys.
See you later.